What's going on, guys? Brendan here with DigimonTCG, coming at you with my first ever Digimon deck profile video, and today I will be running you through Ragnaloardmon. Now, I built him pretty much based on his name. I ended up looking up Viking or Norse-based Digimon, and the only two to come up were Vikemon and Ragnaloardmon. And when I saw him, I was like, oh, well, he looks awesome. And sure enough, we got him in the 1.5 set. So I'm just going to jump right into the profile, and at the end of it, show the ideal chain for getting the maximum potential from this guy right here. So, starting off, we're only running 4 Digitama, and that's going to be 4 copies of Digimon. Mainly being because he's the most consistent with getting his inherited ability going. While there are 5 or more cards in your opponent's trash, this Digimon gets 1000 DP. So just with this right there, ideally your opponent would have the 5 cards in trash, and he's already matching Omnimon at 15. Alright, so to start things off, we're going to go through the option and tamers first. And we are going to be running 2 copies of the 4-drop tie. One, because he negates the memory choke, so you're always going to go to 3 if you're at 2 or less. And then all of my Digimon with 4 more Digivolution cards gain Security Attack +1. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then, of course, we're running red, so why not? We're going to be running 4 Gaia Force. You know what he do. Main, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Security, activate this card's main effect. And now that that's out of the way, we're going to get into the rookies. First one we run is going to be 4 copies of the starter deck Agumon. Because of this right here, just your turn, just Digimon gains 1000 DP. Simple as that. Next one is for a very similar reason. Going to be running 3 copies of the Gyomon. And like the Digimon, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their trash, Digimon gets 1000 DP. We're going to be running him at 3. Next is the first card from the actual Ragnaloardmon line. We're going to be running 3 copies of Zubamon. Now, I don't really count him technically as a rookie for this deck. He is okay to Digivolve on top of in a pinch, but you're mainly running him because of his on-play effect. Not only that, we're also running the black Ludomon for the exact same reason, because they both have the exact same effect. On play, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 Ragnaloardmon Digimon card and 1 Digimon with Legend Arms in its type among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. So 6 cards right here allow you to search the pretty much any of the chain that you will need for Ragnaloardmon. And getting out of the rookies, we're getting into the champions. Of course, we're going to be running 4 copies of Quadramon, your standard red blocker. Next, we have 4 copies of the starter deck Greymon. 1 because inherited effect, security attack +1. That's literally it. The exact same thing can be done with this one here. We're running 4 copies of, I believe that's Zuba Eagermon, or Agermon, I'm not sure. But while this Digimon is level 7, it gains security attack +1. So this one has a stipulation where you pretty much have to have Ragnaloardmon on him to get the security attack +1. So either him or the Greymon, perfect for the Ragnaloardmon chain. Next, we're going to get into the ultimates. 4 copies of Lavo-Garatimon? Lavo-Garita. Lavo-Garita. Lava Burrito, that's what we were calling it today at the tournament. Anyway, running 4 copies of him because he's the 2-cost Digivolution. So just if you're running something up on the board that you just want to make a little stronger or start another chain, and you don't have any of the other level 5s that you would want, he's fine to go into for a cheap option. Next is the ultimate for the Ragnaloardmon chain, Duramon. While this Digimon is level 7, it gains security attack +1. Ideally, you're going to want him always in the chain as your level 5. We're going to run him at 4. And next we're getting into the Megas. First off, we're going to be running 2 copies of Blitzgreymon. He's a solid option for the level 6 in the chain. You don't necessarily have to go into the other 2 that I run, but mainly when you're Digivolving him, you trigger Digivolve 2, so if your opponent has a really strong Digimon on board and you just want to get rid of it, Digivolve into him, and then go for the Ragnaloardmon on top and activate his ability, which I'll be talking about in just a minute here. And he also has Piercing. He's not bad, and he's got the red and black as well. But the black doesn't matter, this is mainly a red deck. Next, Durandamon. Now, these next 2 are going to be the ones you're ideally going to want for the Ragnaloardmon chain. So this one would give Ragnaloardmon Piercing. He's a 3 cost. And then Ragnaloardmon, which is the black version, would give him Blocker instead of Piercing. Exact same thing. And last but not least, the man himself, Ragnaloardmon. I'm running him at 3 currently. I feel with all of the search capabilities of this deck, running him at 3 is perfect. So he already has a security attack +1. He has Reboot, where he can unsuspend during your opponent's unsuspend phase. Now this is the kicker here. When Digivolving, you may place 1 Durandamon or Ragnaloardmon from your hand on top of this card's Digivolution cards and gain 3 memory. So he's essentially a free Digivolve onto the Ragnaloardmon or the Durandamon. And like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and run through the ideal chain that you would want for the Ragnaloardmon. I'm going to grab him, one of those, and this boy here. Alright, so let me get this out of the way. So again, ideally, whenever it gets to that point in the battle, move these up a little bit, you may or may not have tie, but it's perfectly fine. He's mainly there for the extra security attack +1, which would bring Ragnaloardmon up to 5 security strikes in one swing, which is pretty nuts. But of course, we're going to be starting with Digimon. Get these guys out of the way. Ideally into Agumon, because the Agumon already just 1000 DP. Zuba Eagermon, because he's going to give Ragnalord the security attack +1. Same thing with the Duramon, another security attack +1. And then you can go into either of these whenever you want. It doesn't matter which one. Just ideally, you want to have at least both of these in your hand when you're going in for Ragnaloardmon, because essentially what you would do is you would Digivolve there, and then you Digivolve into Ragnaloardmon. So normally at that point, your opponent would be going to their turn. But on his Digivolution, you take a Durandamon or another Ragnaloardmon if you don't have this one in hand. You just go ahead and place him underneath and you regain that memory. So it still stays to your turn and you've got this beefy attacker right here. So as soon as you turn him sideways, he has security attack +1 already, plus his original attack, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Ideally, the 2000 DP from the Digimon and the one from the Agumon would make him 16. Durandamon gives him Piercing, so even if they have the blocker on board, that security is going to get hit. Now for the red matchup, of course, you have to worry about Gaia Force. Blue matchup, Kikaitis Breath. I can't remember the name of the black card that would Digivolve him. There's just a lot of option cards that really are the real main threat to Ragnaloardmon. And then if, just for whatever reason, they end up surviving that turn, he has Reboot, so at the end of your turn, or when your opponent unsuspends, you also unsuspend him, and he now has blockers, so you have a 14k blocker on the board. It's come in clutch with me quite a few times, actually. He does take a lot of setup. Ideally, you want to raise him at least up to level 5, in the raising area, and then on the turn you plan on doing Ragnaloardmon, is the turn you want to bring him from raising area to the battle area. Because the longer he's on board, the more susceptible he is to trashing Digivolution Source or just straight up being destroyed, because he can't be touched in the raising area. But I've run him in 2 tournaments so far, and I've actually had a lot of fun with it. It's by no means the best red deck out there, but it's definitely one of the most fun decks that I've played so far. But I think that'll be it for me today, my first Digimon deck profile video. Let me know how I did, and let me know what you guys think of this one. Again, I've had a lot of fun with it. My opponents said they had a fun matchup against it. There's also a black version you can run of Ragnaloardmon. I've come up against 2 of them so far, and the mirror match was actually pretty fun. But I think that'll do it for me today. You guys have a good one. See y'all later.